The night is a portal, not a place. How the shadows reveal the ones who are not of this world. There are some experiences that happen in the middle of the night when the rest of the world is asleep, when the mind is quiet, when the distractions have faded that are not random. They're not dreams. They're not anxiety. They're not just your imagination. They are signs, messages, warnings. And if you're one of the few who experiences all three of these, you are not just spiritually gifted. You are something else, something other. You are what we call a dark chosen one.
Click subscribe to this channel to get more profound spiritual lessons.
I want to make this very clear from the beginning. Being a dark chosen one is not a title. It's not a trend. It's not even a reward. It's a burden. It's a frequency that rewrites the way you experience life, power, and pain. And the night, that's when it whispers to you the loudest. Because the night is the only time when the veil thins, when the illusion of the world softens, and the truth underneath everything begins to show itself. So if you're watching this, and you've ever wondered why nighttime feels different for you than it does for others, why it's not just quiet, but charged, then maybe, just maybe, and something ancient is moving through your life. And it's trying to wake you up. I remember the first time I experienced it. I was 17. I had just begun to sense energy. I didn't have a name for it, didn't understand what it meant, but I knew something was watching me. Not with eyes, with consciousness. Every night around 3:11 a.m., I would wake up, not panicked, just alert. The air felt heavier. The silence was too perfect. I couldn't move, couldn't speak, but I could feel. And what I felt wasn't evil. It was ancient, intelligent, and it was waiting, not to hurt me, not to take from me, but to see if I could bear it, if I could survive the encounter without running, without screaming, without trying to make it logical. I didn't know it then, but that was the first initiation. That was the night I unknowingly entered the path of the dark chosen. Now, here's what most people don't understand. These three signs that happen at night, they're not just spiritual glitches. They are coded markers, proof that your soul is vibrating at a frequency most humans will never touch. Think of them as spiritual fingerprints left by something beyond this dimension. And once you've been marked, the night becomes your training ground. The first thing that happens is you wake up between 3 and 4 a.m. regularly. Not because of stress, not because of caffeine, but because something is calling you. That time window, often called the witching hour or veil hour, is when the energetic fabric of this reality is most vulnerable, most permeable. Entities, guides, watchers, whatever you want to call them, they move freely then. And if you're waking up during that time consistently, it's not an accident. It's an invitation. You're being awakened not by your body, but by something watching your soul. Something checking to see if you're ready to remember. But here's the deeper truth. It's not just about being awake. It's about how you feel when you wake up. Do you feel like the air is thick? Do you feel like something is in the room, even if you can't see it? Do you feel like your thoughts aren't entirely yours? That's because you're not alone. You're in presence, and the presence is not always light. It's testing, not to scare you, but to initiate you. Because the elite dark chosen ones are not protected from darkness, they are forged in it. Now let me ask you something terrifying and true. What if the reason you wake up at night isn't because you're under attack, but because your soul is too powerful to sleep through the veil? What if it's your own higher self shaking you awake because you've been marked for something greater? Not everyone can handle that idea. But if you're still listening, maybe you can. The second thing that happens is you start seeing, feeling, or dreaming of symbols. Not random dreams, encoded dreams, symbols that repeat. Languages you've never studied, places you've never been but know intimately. Maybe you see ancient temples, shadowy figures, glowing eyes, doors, staircases, or mirrors. These are not dreams. These are downloads. And the night is the only time your logical mind is quiet enough to receive them. I had a recurring dream for 11 years. Always the same structure. I was walking through a hallway made of obsidian, and I would reach a door covered in symbols I couldn't read, but I understood them. And every time I reached for the doorknob, I'd wake up. Until one night, after years of shadow work, fasting, and silence, I didn't wake up. I opened the door, and what I saw on the other side wasn't a vision. It was a memory of who I was before this life. And it changed everything. If you've been having dreams that feel more like experiences, if you wake up with phrases in your head you've never heard before, if you feel like your soul is trying to remind you of something, you're not going crazy, you're remembering. And that's the second sign. But here's the hidden danger. If you don't honor those symbols, if you ignore them or try to rationalize them, they'll stop coming. Not out of punishment, but out of respect. The night teaches through mystery. And if you demand clarity too soon, you lose the lesson. So here's the question. Do you have the patience to sit with a mystery until it reveals itself? Or do you need everything to make sense right now? Because the dark chosen learn through layers. And if you're having these dreams, these symbols, you're being invited into a deeper decoding of reality, one that can't be rushed. And the third thing that happens at night, the one no one wants to talk about, is you feel watched. Not paranoid, not anxious, but observed, as if something is studying you, not with judgment, with strategy. And here's the part that will either break you or awaken you. You are being studied. Because your soul has been marked by energies that are neither good nor evil. They're primordial. They don't operate on human morality. They operate on resonance. The dark chosen ones have a frequency that attracts attention from other realms. Not because they're victims, but because they're focal points of evolution. You carry codes that threaten systems. You carry memory that predates empires. You carry presence that can't be manipulated. That's why you're watched. Because your awakening isn't just personal, it's cosmic. So when you wake up and feel like something is in the room, don't panic. Ask yourself, what if I'm being watched because I'm finally glowing with a light that can't be ignored? What if something ancient is checking to see if I remember what I came here to do? This is not superstition. This is initiation. And now you've heard the 3 signs: waking up between 3 and 4 a.m., receiving symbols through dreams or inner visions, and feeling watched or observed by a presence you can't explain. If all 3 are happening to you, you are not just spiritually sensitive. You are in the training field of the dark chosen ones, and your life will never be the same. But now the question becomes, what do you do with this awareness? Because knowing you're chosen doesn't mean you're ready. It means you've been invited. And in the next part, I'm going to guide you through exactly why these experiences are happening now, and how you can step into your power without losing your mind, your peace, or your soul. Marked by the midnight flame, why your night awakenings are a call to spiritual war. There's a reason this is happening now, not 5 years ago, not in childhood, not in the distant future, but right now in this exact version of your life, with all its chaos, heartbreak, confusion, and transformation. The signs aren't random. They're not spiritual flair. They're not just weird things that happen when you're sensitive to energy. They are activations. And if you're waking up at the same time every night, receiving coded messages in dreams, and feeling watched by something you can't see, then I need you to understand this. You've been marked by the midnight flame. That flame isn't fire, it's frequency. A frequency that only lights itself inside souls with a very specific spiritual DNA. The kind of soul that has walked through lifetimes of betrayal, abandonment, and silence, and instead of turning bitter, turned still. The kind that has seen darkness, and instead of running, studied it, made peace with it, integrated it. And now that soul you is being summoned, not for ascension, not for fame, but for war. But this war isn't what you think. It's not swords. It's not rituals. It's not fighting demons with fire and salt and Latin chants. It's internal. It's ancient. And it's silent. The true spiritual war is not out there, it's in the choice points you face every single night. The moments when you wake up and feel the presence in the room and have to decide, do I react with fear? Or do I respond with awareness? The moments when a symbol appears in a dream for the 3rd time and you have to decide, do I ignore it? Or do I journal it? Meditate on it, decode it, respect it. The moments when you feel that heavy silence press against your chest at 3:33 a.m. and you have to choose, do I scroll my phone to escape it? Or do I sit up, breathe, and ask the void to speak? That's the war. Because every time you choose awareness over avoidance, presence over panic, you win. And each time you win, the flame burns brighter. It becomes not just a signal in the night, but a weapon, a radiant, untouchable frequency that no entity, no ancestral curse, no energetic parasite can withstand. Because the midnight flame is the exact vibration that demons can't feed on. Why? Because it carries no fear, no attachment, no desperation. It is pure power in neutrality. And the dark chosen ones who carry it, they change reality just by being conscious inside it. But here's the secret no one tells you. The real reason you're being tested at night is because the daytime world is an illusion. It's full of noise, performance personas, masks. People can pretend to be anything under the sunlight. But in the middle of the night, when everything is stripped down, when the ego is sleeping, the real you emerges. And that's when the initiators come. The watchers, the architects, the ancient ones that exist between dimensions. They're not here to save you. They're not here to hurt you. They're here to see what you do when no one is watching. Because that's who the dark chosen ones are, the ones who don't need to be seen to live in truth. So let me ask you something serious. When you wake up at 3 a.m., do you reach for distractions? Or do you reach inward? When the dream symbols come, do you write them down and sit with them? Or do you dismiss them because they don't make sense yet? When the feeling of being watched creeps over your body, do you run from it? Or do you ask who's watching and why? Because every time you show the universe that you're not afraid to be aware, it opens another gate. It gives you another piece of your memory, another layer of your power, another key to the weapon you're becoming. And yes, I said weapon, because the elite dark chosen ones are weapons, not of violence, of vibration. Their frequency disrupts illusion. Their presence unravels lies. They don't speak often, but when they do, their words shift timelines. And that's why the war has begun now. Because the world is drowning in noise, deception, false light, and spiritual performance. And the dark chosen ones, the real ones, are being called out of hiding, activated through the night. Not to save the world, but to anchor the truth, to hold the line, to see clearly when others are spellbound. But before you can do that out there, you must do it in here, inside your own body, your own mind, your own energy field. And that's why the signs come at night. Because night strips away the performance. Night reveals your true shape. So if you're waking up every night at the same time, here's what I want you to do starting tonight. Don't panic. Don't distract. Sit up. Light a candle. Breathe deep. Ask, who's calling me? Not with fear, with authority. Say aloud, I am ready to receive what I've forgotten. Then listen. Not with your ears, with your bones. And if nothing comes, that's okay. The silence is the answer. The stillness is the test. Can you remain still long enough for truth to come on its own? If you're dreaming symbols, stop brushing them off. Start a dream log every morning, even if it's fragments, even if it's just colors. Write it down, because symbols are not random. They are keys, and the universe only gives you more when you show you're listening. And if you feel watched, don't resist it. Face the presence. Ask it what it wants. Ask it why it's here. Say, I give you no fear. I give you my awareness. And then just witness. Because chosen ones don't run. They remain. And this is the turning point. This is where you move from being haunted to being honed, from being tested to being trained. Once you stop reacting to the signs and start responding to them, your energy field changes. Your aura sharpens. Your dreams become more vivid. Your intuition gets louder. And the universe starts revealing your true orders. Why you were born. What you came here to break. What you came here to build. And who you really are. Because the dark chosen ones are not here to be influencers. They're not here to be liked. They're not even here to be understood. They're here to remember the codes buried in their soul and live them so loudly that all false realities begin to collapse. And that journey, it begins at night. But here's the final truth of this part. The night is not the destination. It's the gateway, the initiator, the first fire, the ancient contract, what your night signs mean about your true mission on Earth. There is something that every dark chosen one must eventually come to terms with, something deeper than the dreams, heavier than the signs, more permanent than the initiations. It is the ancient contract, a vow that you didn't make in this lifetime, a vow your conscious mind has never heard, but your soul has never forgotten. And when these strange, unexplainable things start happening to you at night, when you wake up at the same time every night without an alarm, when symbols and ancient languages start showing up in your dreams, when you feel watched by a presence that doesn't try to hurt you but doesn't go away, either it's not just spiritual awakening, it's activation, a signal that the contract is being called in. The time has come. The veil is being lifted, and the version of you that made that vow before this body, before this name, before this world wants to be remembered. This contract isn't written in words. It's written in frequency, in the way your energy responds to injustice, in the way your body tenses when you hear a lie, in the way you've always known something was off about the world, even as a child. You were never fully asleep here. Even when you tried to be normal, there was always a part of you that watched. That part was the contract keeping count, waiting, watching for the signs to align. Because the real mission doesn't start when you read a book or take a course or go to a retreat. The real mission begins when you remember what you came here to do without anyone telling you. And guess what? That remembering almost always starts at night. Why? Because the contract was made in the dark. Not the kind of dark we fear, but the kind of dark that existed before light. The womb dark. The void, that place before form, before duality, before language. That's why it doesn't speak in words. It speaks in symbols, in sensations, in dreams that feel more real than your waking life. In moments when you wake up in the middle of the night and your heart is racing and you don't know why, but your soul does. Because the contract is being activated. And it doesn't care if you're ready in your mind. It only cares if you're ready in your nervous system, in your body, in your integrity. Let me be clear. This mission is not a career. It's not a brand. It's not a spiritual identity you wear like a cloak. It's a frequency you embody in every room you walk into. And it doesn't always feel good. Sometimes it feels like isolation, like betrayal, like being misunderstood by everyone, including those closest to you. But that isolation, it's sacred. It's the refining fire. Because the contract can't be activated while you're still addicted to belonging. It needs you to be so true to yourself that even if no one gets it, you still walk the path. That's the test. Always has been. Always will be. And here's what many won't tell you. The reason so few people walk this path fully is because the contract costs you everything you thought you needed. It costs you your comfort, your victimhood, your need to be liked, your addiction to being seen as wise or awakened or rare. It strips you of every mask, including your spiritual ones. And what's left? You, raw, real, unapologetic, sovereign, unshakable, not because you're better, but because you've remembered what you promised to do when the world forgot who it was. Remembered that you didn't come here to fit in. You came here to collapse the illusions that keep others asleep. So what's in the contract? It's not a job description. It's a soul frequency. A mission to hold truth so deeply in your body that your presence shakes lies loose in others. A mission to walk through pain without turning it into a mask. A mission to disrupt comfort with clarity. And no, people won't always thank you for that. In fact, many will resist you. They'll project. They'll call you cold, arrogant, too intense, too deep. But that's only because your energy triggers their pretending. And the contract, it requires that. It demands that you become the one who can walk into a room and not change to be accepted. But instead, hold your frequency so steady that the room starts to shift around you. And that's why you were awakened at night. Because night is the only time your ego is tired enough to let go. And now that you've felt it, that pull, that presence, that fire, you can't unknow it. You can't go back. You're already marked, already chosen, already called. The only question now is, will you answer? Because make no mistake, saying yes isn't about declaring it online. It's not about telling people you're chosen. It's not about teaching or sharing or posting some viral quote. It's about becoming the contract, living it in your silence, in the decisions you make when no one is watching, in the way you hold your power when it would be easier to collapse, in the way you remain even when it's easier to run. And if you say yes fully, deeply, silently, then something begins to happen. The dreams get clearer. The wake-up times become less chaotic and more rhythmic. The energy that once felt like it was watching you now begins to move with you. You stop feeling haunted and start feeling guided. You stop feeling tested and start feeling trusted. Because the contract, once activated, begins to build a path beneath your feet. People show up, wisdom downloads, opportunities align, and not because you're lucky, because you're in alignment with the vow you made before this life. So I ask you now, not as a teacher, not as a guru, but as one of you, one who remembers the weight of the nights, the fire and the silence, the ache of being misunderstood. Are you ready to remember your contract? Are you ready to stop waiting for proof and start walking as proof? Are you ready to stop asking for signs and become the sign for others? Because the world doesn't need more spiritual content. It needs more embodied contracts. More people who are so deeply aligned with who they are that they don't need to explain it. You are not here to be saved. You are here to ignite. You are not here to be understood. You are here to disrupt. You are not here to be liked. You are here to remember. And now that you know, you can never unknow. The night has spoken. The flame has been lit. The contract is yours. So don't just awaken. Answer. You are a dark chosen one, and the world is waiting for you to remember why.